Hey, thanks for watching today. This video covers the Nashville tax deed auctions that were recently announced for 2023 and into 2024. It's a series of about one auction per month. They're kind of smaller auctions, and today we're going to look at the June 2023 auction, which is rather small, so this is probably going to be a short video. And let's just dive in and take a look at what's in there. So let's start off and talk about how do tax deed auctions work in Davidson County, Tennessee. So in general, they're going to work just like the rest of the tax deed auctions in Tennessee. Tennessee predominantly sells their tax deeds at auction. Every once in a while you'll find an over-the-counter list or maybe a land bank for things that are long delinquent, but in this case, Davidson County does a series of tax auctions. What you're buying are redeemable tax deeds that have a one-year redemption period with a 12% flat redemption penalty. So the fact that it's a flat penalty means that 12% you're going to accrue that as an investor if the person redeems immediately after the auction or if they wait up to 1 year. It's 12% no matter what. It could be 6 months in, 7 months in, it's 12%. So again, Davidson County has announced this series of tax deed auctions, and that auction season is going to run from summer 2023 into winter of 2024. They're smaller and they're more frequent than some counties. The state of Tennessee lets the counties do whatever they want with the auctions, so some counties will skip a year and some counties will have frequent auctions throughout the year, and some counties will have just one every year. So Davidson decided to break it up into smaller auctions, and the Chancery Clerk handles these auctions. Those are going to be, that's where you see the postings, the listings, the dates, the times, all of that. The link to their website is at the bottom of this slide. I will include it in the video notes if you want to take a closer look. So when and where are these tax deed auctions that have been announced? They are in-person auctions at the Metro Davidson County Courthouse, which is on 2nd Avenue South in Nashville. There's the address. The registration, at least the posting right now, says that the registration will be at 11 a.m. on the day of the auction, and the auction will happen at 12. So it looks like they're planning a 1 hour window for registration, which is pretty tight. Good news is I don't think you have to get in early on this since it's the day of the auction. We'll see if they're able to keep that up over time. And finally, here are the dates that we're looking at, starting June 21st and then moving through the summer. And then all the way at the bottom of the list, we have a 2024 date in the list as well for January 17th. And again, these lists are not announced yet except for the June 21st one. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. And without further ado, let's go take a look at the list. So I'm going to take you straight to the PDF to start with. This is where you will see 52 properties listed, and I think it'll be updated between now and June 21st. Most counties will do that unless nobody pays their taxes between now and the auction. And you can see there's the property owner, the parcel number, some book and page instrument numbers if you want those, then the address for the property, acreage, and amount that is due at the auction. That would be the starting bid. So again, only 52 properties. You could probably take these and manually look them up one at a time, but since I want to show you what's in the auction, we're going to switch over in a second and look at Parcel Fair for that. So for reference, this is the Chancery Clerk and Master website for Davidson County, and this is the page on that website where you will find the list, two formats, the authorization to bid form, which you can fill out and bring with you to the auction, and then the dates are at the bottom of this page if you want to keep track of those yourself, if you're interested in just watching that. And note that all dates are subject to change, kind of like every auction that we track. That's pretty common. So again, these links will be in the notes in the video, so you can in the comments, I'm sorry, in the description of the video, so you can have those for reference. So like I mentioned, let's jump over to Parcel Fair. I'm going to go straight to the auction calendar, and let's take a look at what Tennessee has to offer in particular. So Tennessee, whoops, there it is. June, we're looking at 3 auctions right now and some more later in the year, but essentially Lincoln, Davidson, and Shelby. And we're talking about Davidson here with 52 properties right now. So let's go over to the map, and right off the bat, you'll notice that 52 properties kind of blend in. We can sort of see these yellow properties hiding out like this one. It looks like some acreage in the countryside. But I'll show you a few tricks to try and locate these properties. First of all, you can go from satellite in the top left corner over to map view, and you might have an easier time finding them now. They're these yellow blocks. But let's show you another way. Let's go back to satellite view. And what I'm going to do is on the right-hand side, you see parcel results. This is where if you want to look at these results from the search and look at them somewhere else, you can save them as a list, download them, view them in a grid. We're going to save these 52 results to a brand new list. I'm going to call it Davidson June Auction and save that. So basically what we have now is a list. We could go view that list, but I'm going to do something else. I want to see those properties highlighted on the map that are in my list, so I'm going to click on Markers and Overlays. And you'll notice in my drop down of lists, I have a Davidson June Auction that I just created. So that drops this exclamation mark balloon window looking thing on every property in the auction. So when you only have 52 results, this is a nice trick. If you had thousands of results, you could probably eyeball it pretty easily. But another trick we're going to do is on the map markers and overlays, let's draw the county borders so we can know where Davidson begins and ends. So let's switch over to map. You'll notice that gave us this gray outline, which covers pretty well Nashville. And of course, all those properties are inside the county borders as expected. But it helps us know we're not going to scroll way down into a different county and get lost. Back to satellite mode. Let's start in this corner down here. We've got it's like a wedge lot, probably not worth looking at any further, so that saved us a little time. I don't really think people buy a lot of lots that shape and size. Let's move on into the city then and start over here. And you can see a small residential house here on the edge, and we're looking at $432,000 valuation. These are evidence that Nashville's property values are doing very well. In other cities and counties that we track, I don't think that house would probably be worth quite that much. And it's no secret, Nashville is a booming area. Lots of great properties to be picked up there. This is another street, looks like a nicer area of town. And you've got two properties side by side, valued at $492 and $259, probably fairly small houses. And let's zoom out a little more, and so we're just kind of surfing through the results. And the downtown, you'll notice, is fairly clear. I don't see any markers there. So let's keep going north. And we'll see some properties on the edge of the river here that we could take a look at. These are land-only properties, it appears, so no structures on those. And as we move further up into the countryside, there's properties like this that have some acreage. There was 6.8 acres on that one. And it's a beautiful part of the country if you've never been. Nashville, sorry, the map is acting funny. Nashville is a beautiful area. Moving further out into the suburbs, there's another house here on the road that, let's just open one up and take a look. So this, we can see a street view here, and we can see that this property is occupied. I'm just going to move on. So zooming back out, you'll notice it's just a diversity of properties. You have some up here in the green areas, the mountainous areas, and then suburbs, so it's kind of a nice mix. The county's got a lot of different looking areas. So now, closer to the airport here, we see like an apartment complex listed in the auction. And then this interesting looking lot might be buildable. I have no idea, but it's a little over an acre there in the middle of a developed area, so it could be worth investigating. So that gives you an idea just from the map of what we're looking at. Wow, this one's kind of near the water. That's always gets your attention. And let's see, even it's really one of the things that makes Nashville beautiful is the Cumberland River actually flows right through it and sort of zigzags, giving a lot of waterfront and interesting areas in the city. It adds a lot of character. Over here on the edge of the river, there's actually 3 lots in this neighborhood. 2 of these are units in a condominium, and one of them is an undeveloped lot. So those are interesting to see subunits of buildings go in a tax sale. So let's dive into some of these properties specifically and take a look even further. This one is, you'll see it's a vacant property is why I chose this one. It's on an acre of land on the outskirts of town. And the amount due is $5,800, valuation $292. So the fact that it's vacant, we've checked, and basically the U.S. Postal Service has told us that they are not receiving mail at this address. It's either the mail's just backing up and no one's checking it, or the post office has given up and stopped delivering to it at this point. So that's a signal to us that it might be a vacant property that demands some attention. You can also see, if you scroll down the page, we have the upcoming auction in this green button with all of the relevant information about the auction. And this is common for Parcel Fair. Anywhere we have a property that we're showing you, we'll walk you through the steps on how to buy it, where, when, if it's an auction, and in general. This link takes you to register for the sale. This link takes you to the tax information. All those site links I showed you earlier in the video. And if you're doing deeper research on a property, this research links section, we're going to see that you have a property card that takes you to Davidson County, to that property, and actually to more information about the property if you want to dig in and learn some more. Similar links here, we can look at the assessor map, which has comps. So that's kind of nice to see a list of comps of 65 nearby sales. The GIS map, this one's actually for the planning department. Similar thing, we're going to just see more details on the property from a different website that's hosted by the county. So all these different pieces of the puzzle you're able to put together. And that's kind of how you would take a look at a property like this. Moving on, here's another residential property further into town actually. This one is occupied, which means they are receiving mail, but it's a third of an acre, valued at $348, and $7,500 in taxes are due. You can see the same story. We've got the research links here and the auction information on that property. Next up, this one is a nice larger house, bigger valuation on a cul-de-sac. It would be very interesting to see if this actually makes it to auction. The owner likely will pay beforehand with a value this high, but the amount due is $28,000 on this house, so it's a bit more. And you can see it's, again, larger house on a cul-de-sac. And next up, this is 6.8 acres, so further out in the country, you see a lot of trees, and this is another occupied address. But the amount due on this one, $4,200 on a $200,000 valuation. But that acreage kind of gets your attention anywhere you see something like that. Could be very appealing to have that much acreage near the city. This one I just threw in kind of for fun. It's a very large house. Never see houses like this in a tax sale, hardly at all. And I mean, my gut tells me it's probably going to get paid off in advance because, or redeemed. I just don't see someone letting a house like this go over $11,000. And so, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. And lastly, I threw in a commercial building just for good measure. It's a vacant commercial building, and it's valued at $1.3 million, probably because of location and the fact that it's over an acre. But it's quite a large property there, or valuable property there. So that gives us a quick snapshot of what's in the auction. So I'm going to take a look back at the map. We're going to hide our list markers and just point out to you that these are small auctions in Davidson County every month, so good to track. But you also have other auctions throughout the year. These are the counties we've tracked so far. You'll notice you can look at any of these counties in Parcel Fair and get that same experience where basically you're going to be able to see the properties on a map and view the details and go look at that same property report with links to the local county offices. In this case, we're talking about Shelby County, Memphis, and you can go straight to like the tax assessor property details for this. And so yeah, the same consistent experience across counties to help you out. So Tennessee's a appealing state to invest in, considering the redemption period, the interest rate, penalty, and frankly just the appeal of Tennessee right now. It's a lot of people moving there, a growing area. especially cities like Nashville. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and good luck in the auction. And thanks again for watching.